Hello everyone. So MCP servers are here, and when you set it up, you could say something like create an issue in this repo on a bug you see. And you have to be in Cursor or have an IDE with agent mode. And once you've configured the MCP server, uh, you can start making MCP tool requests. So the way that this works is if you go into Cursor settings and then click the MCP tab, you can configure an MCP server. Here I've configured the GitHub, official GitHub MCP server. What that looks like is something like this. And where you find this configuration is in the public GitHub repository here, GitHub MCP server. And I'm sure other providers out there would have their own MCP server support as more people adopt this protocol. So in this repository, I've asked it to find a bug. I've connected my GitHub personal access token, and this MCP server is running. Notice how it's using Docker. So you need to ensure that you have Docker set up on your machine, and that that this container is running, because that's where the MCP server is running. Now that I've asked the bot to create an issue for this repository, it's found an issue and it's going to call the MCP tool create issue that it's found in GitHub. These are the arguments that's being provided to the tool, which then the MCP tool is then going to go to the server and then call out to and hit a request inside GitHub to create that issue. So here's where you can actually change and tweak. You can imagine what the arguments of the tool would be. So the owner, do I want to change the body? What labels are applied? You can set this all up through this natural language chat through the agent here on the right hand side. So now I'm ready to call this and then, run this tool. So this is so cool because it's using the integrated experience through the agent. You can set up different triggers, different MCP servers and APIs all within this environment. And you can use this natural language coding to do things outside of just this code, outside of just your code, with other platforms such as GitHub. So it has successfully created the issue. And let's check the repo to see if it has created the issue. One new issue, security vulnerability, missing input sanitization on post request. It's found all of this. It shows you the current code. It gives you a suggested fix and done some labels. And so, that's the example here. Imagine all the downstream side effects that you could come up with, like creating a pull request, all this kind of stuff. And all you needed to do was to install this MCP server. I think I'm going to start using something like this and come up with other ideas. It doesn't have to be run with Docker. If you find a platform out there that supports MCP, it can just be an endpoint too. So you can either run the MCP server locally, or you can find other platforms that have their own MCP server support, and you can call that too. So I was just mucking around with something locally here. Super cool. Wanted to share that with you and let me know your thoughts.